before December 21st, this is how I looked like. Now, I'd always adored my hair. It was my safety blanket. It's what kept me safe in a conforming society, like a school that enforces uniforms. But there was something that was burning within me, a fire that I couldn't ignore. So, like any angsty teenager, I decided to make an impulsive decision. I shaved my head. Now, I'm not here to convince you to do that too. By all means, do whatever you want with your hair. Cut it, dye it, grow it out. It's up to you. But I'm here to merely just be a muse. The voice to tell you that your fear of looking stupid is holding you back. We all live in a confining fishbowl. Rarely we get to look outside of ourselves and realize that other people are living lives just as complex as we are. We become so caught up in our own problems and our own seaweed floating around in the fishbowl and the little algae that we forget to realize that other people are facing the same things. Maybe not exactly the same, but the extent of it is pretty severe. That we become disconnected from each other. We forget that the one thing that connects us all together is the place in our hearts. Now that does sound cheesy, I know. But if you really look at it, not with your eyes, but with the feelings that you feel for each other, that is truly what makes us into a union. That's what brings us friendship. That's what brings us love, is that connection. Now, think about this for a second. Imagine that you all have a pair of glass eyes. And this pair of glass eyes that you're born with was stained, tainted, broken. Now, we see the world through those glass eyes. And we rarely question that that pair of glass eyes is right or is suited for us, or that we're fit to walk the earth with those eyes, that we're supposed to believe that that is our perspective. Let me tell you something. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to live with the same views that they tell you to live with. You don't have to have the same beliefs that your parents put upon you, that people around you have. You don't have to follow the rules that someone has put in front of you. You can make your own rules. But that doesn't mean that you can go against morals. You should have your own morals. You should find what leads you. You should find your passion. Find something that brings you purpose. Now, you may ask yourself, but how do I find that purpose? How do I find what pushes me to wake up and get out of bed every morning and to do what I'm meant to do? Let me give you a simple answer. Have you ever quieted your thoughts enough that you listen for that whisper in your soul? Something that calls, something that gives you a light to follow, a warmth that you haven't felt because you were so caught up in the cold. Have you gave yourself enough time to realize that you have all the time in the world to figure out what you want to be and how you want to walk this earth? Well, of course not. In this day and age, everything has to be done quick. We have to get the latest technology. We have to order food. That food can't arrive in more than 30 minutes, or else I'm going to throw a fit. Oh, well, back in the times when people had to catch their own food, when they had to hunt, when they had to prepare their food. That took time. People had a lot of patience back then. But what happened? Why are we so obligated to be in a rush? What are we hurrying for? Have you ever asked yourself that? Yeah, well, of course, we have to have a good job, have a stable family, own up to what our parents put for us on the table. But why? Who told us to believe that? And why didn't we ever question that? Why did we blindly follow what they told us to do? Why did we avoid that love that we had within ourselves, that passion we had within ourselves? Who told us to fear going against what they taught us to be? And why do we choose to fear? Fear is only in your head. Fear is not real. Just like this life that you live in, everything is only what you want it to be. I'm going to say that again. Everything is what you want it to be. That's really powerful, okay? Your thoughts, as one example, are powerful. You can create anything just out of your thoughts if you really put your mind to it. You want to get good at something, you practice. You put that strength. You want to be someone, then you'll be it. But the same goes negatively as well. Your thoughts become who you are. You tell yourself you're not good enough, then you'll never be good enough. Now, who told you that you weren't good enough? Maybe it didn't come straight from your own soul, but maybe it came from another. Maybe there was a voice that told you you weren't good enough. Maybe there were people that told you you weren't good enough. Maybe for some reason you did something not the way you wanted to do it, and you beat yourself up for it. Why do you choose to associate yourself with that? Why do you put yourself lower than who you truly are? Because the strength that you have and the power that you have is far greater than you've ever believed. You may not have realized it, or maybe you did realize it, but did not choose to believe it. But I'm telling you right now that every single person in this room has as much power equally to do great things than the next person. And it doesn't matter in what. You can find just one thing that you're good at. Maybe it's something so odd, like making snowmen, for example. You could be the best snowman maker and still have a purpose to live on this earth. Sure, compare yourself to someone who's made technology that helps Earth out. But they're not any greater than you are. Because we all have one thing in common. And that one thing is a will. That will to do better. That will to inspire. That will to just exceed limits. To break barriers. To break stereotypes. To prove to yourself that you are far greater than what anybody has ever told you. It just takes yourself believing it. It just takes you finally telling yourself that you've had enough. You've had enough of all the voices telling you that you can't do it. You've had enough of all the voices telling you that you should be someone that you're not. Fear. I'm gonna go back on that topic again. How many of you didn't do something because you were afraid of how you would look like to someone else? You don't have to raise your hands. Think about that for a second. You feared how you would look like to someone because of something that you wanted to do. Why do you care what someone else thinks of you? You don't live in their head. You don't live in their shoes. They have complex thoughts, yes, but why does that matter to you? Because at the end of the day, you're the one that sits in your body. You're the one that pilots this vehicle. You make these decisions. You make these choices. Why are they important to your decision making? Why should their harsh opinions determine who you should be? Why do you seek validation from them? What does their mental thoughts do for your life? What kind of a value does it add on? Something that is not physical. How does that make you richer? It doesn't. Because the one thing that makes you richer is the garden that you have inside of your own mind. It is what you water, which makes you truly valuable. It is what you choose to give your attention to. It is what you choose to believe. It is who you choose to be. It'll make you the richest person in this world. Because you have that full control. You give yourself that full power to be who you want to be. You don't give anybody else that strength. Because it's your life, not theirs. They won't live it for you, that's for sure. But you just gotta take back control of it. You gotta understand. I could plant a seed for you in your mind. And that seed may not flourish right away. Maybe it may take years, months, maybe days, who knows? But it's your responsibility to maintain that growth. Now, I'm going to leave you off with this one question. You can think about it for as long as you want. Go home, maybe write it down, put it up on your fridge. Does your fear of looking stupid hold you back?